Hey everybody, thanks again for all your support with my intro to virtual production series. If this is the first video you're seeing, go and check out my intro video. It explains what virtual production is as well as how you can get into it with literally no budget. So far I've shown what virtual production is and created a tutorial so you can get into it yourself. I wanted to make this video to show you some of the possibilities that this technique allows with no equipment other than a smartphone. Last week my friend John and I shot this short sequence of him moving through the Sun Temple environment, which you can download for free in the Unreal Marketplace, with the goal being both a showcase of the technique and a test to see just how much you can get away with before you risk any serious distortion. So let's get into it. So with this opening shot, I was able to match camera angles in Unreal and output a clip to fill in the frame of the door. Nothing special, but shows you that you can use Unreal to add to your base footage without having to migrate everything to Unreal. Think filling in windows or reflections. This next shot kind of sums up everything I'm planning to talk about. When filming with this method, I assumed that I would always have to match camera angles perfectly in-engine to get a realistic looking final shot. But here you can see the camera is raised in-engine and on an angle different from my base footage. The footage is clearly a bit distorted in-engine, but I absolutely see this as passable, so I wanted to see how far I could push this idea moving forward. This shot was the original idea that inspired the entire project. I think the usage of in-engine lens flare really helps blend John into the scene, and I'll definitely be making use of this more in the future. With this shot, I wanted to push a bit more on the passable distortion I played with in the first shot. Here the angle is slightly off, and I'm animating the camera to perform both a tilt and pedestal move. Though John appears to grow a bit taller throughout the shot, notice how his feet continue to make contact with the ground and the reflection matches fairly well. The same applies to this next shot, but with a dolly animation instead. Also, please excuse the sloppy rotoscoping. I'm sure that if you take more time to actually make it perfect, it'll really help out the shot in the future. This is the shot that I think performed the worst. The lens flare definitely helps the shot a bit, but overall I think the angle of my lighting was a bit too far off. The camera positioning was a bit stretched, and the lack of shadow being casted on the floor by John is only making it worse. I'm trying to troubleshoot efficient ways to add shadows in engine as opposed to having to paint them in after, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. For this final shot, the broom support was helpful but completely unnecessary. It just helped inform John with what objects in the scene he'd be interacting with. Here the pulling away camera motion seems to perform very well, but I'm curious how these dynamic camera movements will perform in the future. Thanks everyone for watching this demo video. If you want to make something similar to this, I made a full tutorial video last week, so you should definitely give that a watch as well. Next week I'll be making another video looking into how to import tracking data from your camera to make the in-engine dynamic camera movements a little bit less distorted. So definitely be on the lookout for that one, and I'll see you then. Thanks.